Yo, what's going on, everybody? Jake here. Today I want to do a little bit different type of video. I know I've been doing the Exotic Madness series, but lately I've just been grinding a lot of Crucible when I'm not filming videos, and I just had a lot I felt like I could say on it. I feel like we can use this video to discuss whatever I think Crucible is right now, but I'll also use this time to give my best advice on how I see success happening in the Crucible. So the first topic I wanted to discuss was the idea of skill-based matchmaking and whether or not it's in the game, and you can't seem to find a definitive answer. Where anywhere you look, nobody really knows if it's in the game or not. But from my own personal perspective, I do think it is, because as the seasons have progressed and I've become better and better as a player, and I include a screenshot here in a second of the game before this game. So here's a screenshot of the game before this game where I had 43 kills and the guy next to me had 30 and we lost. As I've gotten better and better as a player, I've noticed that more and more good players are on opposing teams. And at first I was thinking that was because my elo ranking was going up, therefore I was matching with people with higher elos. But then I started to notice that it was only the people on the other team that were getting better. It wasn't actually the people on my team getting better too. So it's not like I was being put in a lobby with better players. It's just that when it came down to dividing the teams, some skill-based matchmaking was happening. So what I've taken out of all of this is it almost appears as if there's no skill-based matchmaking when it comes to matching teams, but once it has a pool of 12 players, it then decides to skill-based matchmake, because I have played almost 300 games this season in Crucible, and let's just say half of them are in quick play. So 150 quick play games, and I, on the top of my head, cannot think of one game where I had a teammate that made me say, wow, this guy's good. But there are several games I can think of where I went up against another team and was just very frustrated with how well they played together and how well they played as individuals. And so I just wish Bungie would answer that question. Are we being skill-based matchmaked, or are we just being randomly grouped and then being assorted? Because when we're randomly grouped and then assorted, as a solo queuer, it puts me in a bad spot, because most of the time the good players are going to be in a 2-stack or a 3-stack. Therefore, they're not going to put me on their team, because then that makes 4 good players on one team. So I'm always going to be against these good players, and I'm always going to have the bad ones on my team. And because most of the time, the rest of the people are solo queues. The majority of the people only queuing in teams in quick play are average to skilled players, can hold their own type players. But you have a lot of solo queuers who can also hold their own. But it seems like whenever those solo queuers who can hold their own are in there, they're on the other team with a 2 or a 3-stack who's also good. And I don't seem to understand that. Maybe the 2-stack or 3-stack isn't as good as I think they are, and that's why he gets put with them and not me. I don't really know the balance there, and I wish I did. I wish we all did. But as of now, there's really nothing you can say about it, because nobody really knows. But it does move into the next topic I have, which is the current state of Crucible. And this is unlike any Bungie game, Bungie specifically, game I've ever played. It's unlike Destiny has ever been, or what I learned Destiny to be. Having grown up on Halo 3 and the ability to play solo competitive, aka the Lone Wolves playlist, that would be the solo player's heaven if they did a solo playlist for competitive. Imagine competitive Rumble. I know it would be a god-awful experience, but just imagine the rejoice from the community if solo players got a chance to be competitive. Because right now they don't. With a game driven on team shotting, solo players are at a severe disadvantage when it comes to being competitive. You can play quick play all day long, and I advise that. I love quick play. Quick play is a great place to practice, but if you really want to achieve things in this game as far as Crucible, you have to play competitive, and solo players are already at a disadvantage just because of that. And that new aspect of team shotting, it really is new. There are less 1v1 engagements, and it actually makes a better player worse because there's less chances for him to engage in those 1v1s where he would normally win. Now he's engaged in 1v2s, 1v3s. And whereas in the past those 1v2s, 1v3s would be possible, you know, I think back to D1 trials and all of the weekends that I would do carries, or the weekends where I would try to do a 1v3 flawless, or you name it. There was always the ability when your teammates went down to clutch the round. Always. You were never out. And it's just not like that in Destiny 2. The improved player count in competitive doesn't help that aspect of things, but a 1v4 would still be very possible with a lot of the good player base, but not in this current state of Crucible, because you can't just melt people like you could in D1, and I don't get it, because you could team shoot in D1, but it's almost like D2 team shooting is buffed. It's almost like there's a secret buff when two people are shooting at the same guy, because you could team shoot in D1, but I've never seen people get melted like I'm seeing them get melted in the Crucible right now. And it could just be our crazy time to kill values. I don't really know what it is. But another thing too is there's just no initiative to level up. I think back to Halo Reach, which was a great game, and one thing that kept me playing quick play, kept me playing the playlist that gave no, you know, relative rewards, was the rank up system, and the fact that I could unlock camos, and I could unlock new masks, and I could unlock visor camos. I couldn't wait to get to level 100 to get the black visor camo back in Halo Reach. But not only that, your rank was displayed next to your name. Here in Destiny, I could play 1,500 matches in a season, and not a damn person would know it unless I have that emblem on that tells them how many matches I've played. Because when I hit 2,000 Valor, just like everybody else, I reset and go back to 0. And do I get a prestige token like in Call of Duty when I reset? Does something show next to my name to tell people how many times I've reset? No. So you just play and you play and you play. And there really is something about being able to show off how much time you've put into the game that I think Destiny and Bungie needs to introduce to the Crucible. Give us a chance to show the community what we've invested our time in and what we are proud of. Because Call of Duty players flex their rank, their prestiges, and in Halo, obviously, if you had a general rank, you were telling everybody, hey, look at my profile, check out my rank, you know, 50, level 50, general. You know, I'm talking Halo 3. There's nothing in Destiny, and there's really never been. Funny enough that I'm making an Exotic Madness series, changing the topic, because exotics, man, they're a problem. There is a real exotic problem in PvP. Maybe not in PvE, maybe not in Destiny as a whole, but in PvP there is. And I just follow me on this journey. It starts with Telesto, and I'm just talking from Forsaken on. So you pre-Forsaken people, I'm sure you could make this list even longer. But just follow me here. Telesto, Polaris Lance, Graviton Lance, Jotun, Le Monarch, Wardcliff Coil, Lord of Wolves in our current meta, the One-Eyed Mask when it first came out, Gwizinvest. I'm sure there's ones that I'm forgetting, but there are just so many weapons that you can think of, exotics, that when they were released were broken. And the Lord of Wolves is an exception, and I'll get to that in a second. But it's almost like they're not playtesting these exotics in the Crucible, because they're not by any means relative to creating a fair or fun environment at all. It's almost like they're not playtested. The Lord of Wolves was just screwed up, and that's their fault. And they've admitted that, and that's whatever. But I don't think they should be waiting till July, whatever, to fix it and then giving everybody a triumph. Just fix the damn thing now. Everybody's sick of it now. Why wait till July? Okay, you acknowledged it. You said sorry. That's great. We accept your apology. Fix the fucking thing. We're sick of it. The exotics are a problem, and they need to be addressed in the future in Destiny 3 if they're not going to be addressed in Destiny 2. Real quick, comp, I think there's too few maps. I feel like I'm playing the same map every other game. I feel like I'm playing the same map and game type because there's only 3 game types. I'd like to see some more variability in the competitive playlist as far as maps, variations, and game types. I don't like when I rematch the same team, whether it's a team I just stomped or a team who just stomped me or a team that was really close. I don't like rematches. I don't think they should be a part of the competitive playlist. There should be something that prohibits that, because I know a lot of teams of 4 who will specifically farm bad teams of 4, and I feel bad for those bad teams because that's unfair to them. They should be playing somebody on their skill base, but skill-based matchmaking exists. No, it doesn't. And then finally, the meta. I'm sick of hearing the word meta. Destiny doesn't need a meta. Every gun needs to be relative in the current state of Crucible, and it's not, and that pisses me off. Right now, it's Sniper, Reck-luse, Last Word, Not Forgotten, Luna's Howl, and Fusion Rifles. That sounds like a lot, but it's not. It's only like 6 different weapons, and that needs to be fixed. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for listening to me rant. I hope you enjoy this type of video. It was just a normal game in the background. And yeah, just let me know what you think in the comments. As always, if you're new, subscribe. If you're not, thank you, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.